Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started drawing our star. We know it's going to be 48 inches tall, so we're going to put a line at 48. And our smaller wings are going to be 30 inches overall, so they're going to be 15. Alright, so now we need to draw a polygon. And we're going to say 8 sides. And we're going to pick center, inscribed in a circle. And we're going to be at that end point. So now the fun part is just going in here and drawing a few more lines, and we'll begin to see our star take shape. And we're going to draw the upper half here, and then we'll just mirror it for the bottom. These lines that I'm putting in here are just going to define the valley of where the star comes together, since it is going to be three-dimensional. So now we got to pick how far we want the center to be. So we'll just draw another circle here to divide that up, and I'm going to say about 7.5 looks good to my eye. And where that intersects with that circle, and since our upper points are going to be a little bit longer, we're going to here and here. Alright, there's our upper half. Now we'll get rid of the stuff we don't need. Get rid of our circle now. And we'll mirror this pup over. Okay, so that's our basic shape. That's what we sketched out on paper. So now all we got to do is figure out the true length of these lines as they correspond to this in the 3D plane. So the next section will do just that. Alright, so now what we got to do is develop a side profile, or a bottom view of this star, so we can figure out our cut sizes. So we're just going to project some lines here. It helps if they're straight. And then we can see a little bit of this part from the bottom. Alright, I've already predetermined that we want this about 1.5 inches tall. So I'm going to run a peak up here at 1.5 inches. For this one now. Alright, so now what we can do is draw lines from what I called our valleys, and that'll give us what these individual segments look like in a bottom elevation view. So there, if you imagine that, that's what that looks like. So the other thing we're going to do is draw a straight line from here for use in a bit. So we're going to have a point where they all come together there in the center, and for the small ones they go to that point. Now we can get rid of these two lines. Alright, there's a rough view. So what we're going to do now is measure the length of these lines, because that is a true length. Alright, so that's about 3.25, and then from here we'll get our long point. Alright, that looks pretty good. We might as well go ahead and get the angle of bend here while we're here. About 55 degrees. Alright, and as far as our valley, we can get a rough, this won't be exact, but we can get a rough idea of how long that is by going from that center point to there. So we'll use that, like I say, it'll be pretty close. Go ahead and get a dimension on that. Alright, so now we got some dimensions to work with. What we can do is come in here and just copy this and put that out here, and we'll begin to shape that to be our actual cut file. Alright, since we measured this at 3 1/4, that means that from the center line of here needs to be 3 1/4, and obviously since we took that from the plan view, that's not going to be the same, so we're going to just confirm that. Yeah, that measures 2.87. So what we need to do is make that what we measured here, which is 3 1/4. So the easiest thing to do is just to draw a line up to the intersection point, and then we'll draw a line at 3 1/4. Alright, so that's more representative of the true length of that line. So if we mirror that over, that's where those points should be. So we'll just go ahead and move those. Like so. Alright, so the only other thing we've got to change is the length from here to here, because that's also changed in plan view. And the way we figure that out is the same process. We just take a measurement and we know how long that's going to be. So we'll do that, and then we'll get the rest of these parts ready to go over to the cutting table. Okay, so we got all those files finished there, and like I say, we got 2 long points. That'll be this part, and then we have our other 6 that are this way. So now that we've got the cut files drawn, we'll send it over to our plasma cutting software and start the process of cutting these out.